Before we get into the video, I just wanted to mention how well my last video did in my last couple ones and just remind people that I'm on track to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the month. My channel usually doesn't get this much attention, but I just want to thank everyone who is subscribing. And yeah, just enjoy the video. I like replying to all the comments and just interacting with people. So the more people that come here and subscribe means that we'll have less people not coming back, because you see right here, 95% people not subscribed, 5% are. And really that just means only 5% of people are have a chance at coming back. So I don't know. Just thank you. Enjoy the video. Hello, today's September 12th, and today I'm going to be going over my presidential election predictions. Last time I made my video was a couple days ago, and I've changed a couple things since then. It's pretty much instantly after. Two state calls I've changed, and a couple characterizations I'd like to talk about. But first of all, if you're new, I got every state in 2020 correctly. So if you want to learn about that, I'm going to link that at the top of the description below, because I figure that's kind of like the most interesting thing I've done on this channel. I made a whole video explaining about it. But yeah, so I'm going to go over how I do my characterizations, and then I'm going to get quicker into it. So you see these colors on North and South Dakota. That means safe red, which means 15 points or more. So if Trump wins North and South Dakota 60% to 40%, that's a 20-point victory in each of the states, and that would be a safe Republican state. But if he wins at 55 to 45, that's 10 points, which falls into my likely margin. My likely margin would be plus 7 to 14.9%. So in 2020, Kansas was a 14.9% state, so I put that as likely. Same with Nebraska's 1st district, and Ohio was at 8 points. They are all under the same categorization in 2020. And with lean states, it's 2 to 6.9%, and with tilt states, anything that's under 2%, which I think better categorizes the maps better than some of the other guys. So I'm adding 2 new safe blue states to the map. So Washington, California, New York, Maryland, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Vermont, Maine's 1st district, DC, and Hawaii. And then last time I added Colorado to the 15-point margin. And for those interested, I did look at the August registration numbers. If you need me to provide a link to them, because I don't have all the sources yet. Someone said in the comments I should show the polls that I'm going off of. And the problem is I don't just go off the polls, so I don't like to do that. I don't like to go, oh, this poll shows Harris up 3, because the next one might show Trump up 3. So I don't know. But that's why it's called a prediction. And a lot of people don't seem to understand that. But what I'm going to do today is I'm going to add 2 new safe states, Oregon and Delaware. Voter registration numbers in Oregon, Colorado, and Delaware continue to prove me wrong about how those 2 states were, specifically Oregon and Delaware, have been trending. I think Colorado might actually vote to the left of Delaware, which I will find very interesting. Same with New Jersey, which is the only usually... Oh, also Illinois. Sorry. Illinois is a safe blue state. But also, I'm putting New Jersey in the likely Democratic column again. It's the only usually safe blue state that I'm keeping in the likely column, but don't be surprised if I change it at any point. There's a lot of independents registering in New Jersey throughout August. Those numbers came out, and I looked at those today. Obviously not for every state, but a lot of states report on it, like Pennsylvania, where it showed pretty much no change. Republicans gained ground in Pennsylvania directly, but there was a lot of independents, and if Harris wins independents, then what does that even mean at that point? Because it might just even out, and that's why I did that. Democrats are only gaining ground in a couple states, and one of those I found pretty interesting is Utah, and even though that is true, I am going to keep Utah as a safe red state for now, because I don't believe it's going to shift a full 7 points from its 20.5% margin in 2020. So these other safe red states: Idaho, Wyoming, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, Indiana, Missouri, Nebraska at large, and Nebraska's 3rd district. Oh, Nebraska is also one of the only other states that Democrats are gaining ground in as well. And any other safe Republican states? I don't think so. Yeah, no. There's no other safe Republican states here. I am going to mark some of the almost basically safe Republican states as well. Nebraska's 1st district and Kansas at likely. I might add a characterization that means basically safe, So a darker version of likely, but lighter than safe, so people can better understand. Because I obviously don't think Kansas is going to be as competitive as Ohio, which might be like a 7 to 10 point Trump win. I don't know. Obviously, I don't know, but there's probably better ways to do the margins than I actually do. But yeah, the rest of the likely Republican states: Ohio, Iowa, usually pretty likely. I'm gonna say South Carolina. I did move Florida down the lean last time, but I'm gonna move it back to likely. I figured I should just double down on my likeliness of Florida. Probably like 8% of a Trump win. Republicans heavy outdoing Democrats in Florida. There's almost no way the Republicans can lose Florida unless he's like says the N word or something. But yeah, he really, how did I bring this up? I am gonna bring this up closer, even more. But he messed up that debate. Wow, it was bad. He messed up that debate. Like, he just had to act normal and not do anything crazy or say anything ridiculous, and he would have been fine. But he did. So yeah, this is gonna be a fun video. I'm putting Alaska at likely red as well. New Mexico and Virginia, New Hampshire, and Maine at large go in the second tier of likely as well. Basically, almost certainly going to Harris, but not quite at that margin. I think Harris might win New Mexico by like 6%. Not 76, 7 or 6%. She's probably going to win Virginia. She's actually starting to get bigger leads in Virginia, like double-digit leads, which is something I've been waiting for as a Democrat to see. And obviously, I don't know how much it's actually shifting, but she's doing so much better with turnout than Biden was going to get. So, as of right now, that's kind of the big thing they need to focus on in like rural Virginia, rural Pennsylvania. I'm also going to give Minnesota the likely Democratic column, and we're adding a new likely Democratic state, not state, but thing today, and that's Nebraska's second district. She whooped Trump so bad in that debate that I genuinely think she's going to win Nebraska's second district by like 9%. Because I mean, they're not only are they very influential because they're such a smaller group of people, but I just think that they had such a strong shift from 2016 to 2020 that she could even win it by like 14%. She's not going to, probably. And again, it's really hard to say that when Don Bacon is the incumbent, but we'll see. He's in danger of losing that seat more than he was in 2022. So again, like I just said, we'll see. But yeah, those are the last of the likely states that I'm adding to this. So the lean parts that I'm going to add, Texas lean and Maine second district lean. They shouldn't come to crazy surprises for anyone. If you're at all surprised by those categorizations, you're probably a Democrat wondering why Maine's second district is so red, as opposed to Harris up here 5-6 points. And I only say that because of 2020. I'm so terrified of that polling mistake happening again. Like I did say in the beginning of the video, I did get every state right in 2020, but technically Maine's second district, I did not get that specific electoral vote right. Thankfully, I got all 50 states right in general, so I can still say that and still say I got every state right. But Maine's second district stumped me, and I think it's just because it's so hard to poll a specific district, especially when there's that much of a vote split between Golden and Trump. There's such a big split. There's a lot of Trump Golden voters. I don't exactly know why, but there is. Same with North Carolina, which I'm putting at tilt Republican. So I did give that blue last time, and then right after the video, day after, I saw those ballot returns, those ballot requests. I meant, women might be up a little bit from 2022 and 2020, but black voters are down a lot in North Carolina. That is like the second most. That is the most important demographic to win as a Democrat in North Carolina, is to dominate the black vote. And when Trump's already doing better with the black vote in general in polling and seeing how blacks are viewing of Trump, he's already doing like 5 points better than 2020. So even if Harris goes from 90 to 85, she's probably going to lose North Carolina by like 3%. I still think it's going to be an extremely close race, and I think the fact that women are turning out a lot more this year is going to overshadow a very, very minuscule amount of black vote loss. That is nothing to panic about for Democrats. I see if it continues into 2028, then yes, I would be terrified, especially in Georgia. But I am giving Georgia to Kamala Harris again. There's no, I can't like specifically recite every exact reason why. I just, as of right now, I think Harris is going to get state boost from this. She's not going to get a national boost from this, but I think she's going to get swing voter boosts, which in turn is going to affect some of these really, really, really close states like Georgia. But I'm also, by the way, I'm also keeping in mind with North Carolina and other states where Democrats are doing worse in ballot requests that there's also going to be more Democrat turnout in person than in 2020. That is very, very obvious. There is more Democrats who are coming out in 2020. And chances are most of the Republicans who didn't vote, by mail in 2020, 2022 are probably not going to do it this year either. So that's why, and you can obviously see how down mail-in ballots are. So there is going to be Democrats who go in person. COVID was a big factor on Democrats just mailing in, and the only reason Republicans didn't do it at a high level was because they don't believe in mail-in ballots. It's ridiculous. It's crazy that he's like, no, don't vote mail-in ballots, and then cries about the mail-in ballots being Democrat. I don't know, but yeah, I'm giving Georgia to Kamala Harris, and I was gonna mark. Usually at this point, I mark another red state. But you know what? Wisconsin, Michigan, those are lean blue states right now. There was a kind of a scary poll today where Harris was down one in Michigan, but I think it was by signal. But then an hour later, it was another one. Oh, she's up one in Michigan, and Slotkin's up one, and I'm like, Slotkin's up by more than one. So I feel a lot more confident about even just like I said in 2022 in past videos, that those polls were a lot more accurate. So I think if you're seeing a close race in Michigan in the polls, it's probably going to be a close race in person or in real life. It's not going to be like, oh, if it's a close race in the polls, Trump's going to win by 5 or 6 points. That's not really how it's going to work this year. And if it does, I stand corrected. I do believe it. I put like 5% more thought into the polls this year. But like I like to see in the polls most significantly is consistency. Because usually if it's a shaky win, I'm going to give it to Trump. And usually he's been handling the last couple of leads steady in Arizona. But I think Arizona is one of those states where Harris is going to win the independents. Independents are going to be very even this year. There's no clear winner of the independents. Harris could win it by 5, Trump could win it by 5, or they could split dead even. It doesn't really matter. It just matters how they're voting in the swing states. And I think when you look at Arizona, they're going to vote for Harris. Arizona independents do not like Trump. That is a known fact. And she does better with younger independents, especially, where they are splitting for her way better. So especially in Maricopa County, Phoenix, where there's a lot of registration, even Republicans in Arizona. Like, Arizona is a special scenario for Harris and Democrats, because that's not really a state like 10 years ago. You could really see them winning at consistently as they have since 2018. But Trump's really just switched the tone and moved them so far to the right that Democrats are starting to look moderate. So I'm giving her Arizona. I haven't given her Arizona, I believe, since mid-August or something like that, where she did have a pretty consistent lead for a while, and then she just kept going down and down and down. They don't like Tim Walz. I don't know, but I am giving Arizona to her, while I'm also giving Nevada to her. Rosen is carrying this for Harris. Rosen's up like double digits in the last 5 polls. Rosen's dominating. I don't know why. Maybe people started to... Okay, I can't say that. I was going to insult Sam Brown, obviously. I was going to insult him for what he looks, but I know he has a burn. I don't know exactly what happens, but I think it was through service, so I decided not to say anything. I was going to make a joke, my bad. But Sam Brown, he's not a good candidate in general, so Rosen just carrying this, absolutely, and moving Harris to 5 and 6 point leads in Nevada, where previously you would see Trump up consistently by that same amount, where I was so confident that he would win Nevada. That's when I started to realize there was almost no way that Harris or Biden could win, because if she loses Pennsylvania, then she either needs Georgia/Nevada or North Carolina/Nevada or North Carolina/Georgia, but that's not likely. So she would pretty much need Nevada in every scenario where she loses Pennsylvania if she wants to win this election. Luckily for her in this scenario, she doesn't even need Pennsylvania. Trump could just win Pennsylvania by 10 points here. He's not gonna win it by 10 points, let's be honest. But he could, hypothetically. And I am pretty close to giving Pennsylvania a lean. This seems like a Muhammad Oz kind of scenario, to where it looked like he was going to win closer up to the race, or he was actually gaining, and then it just turned out, guess what? Didn't matter. There was already so much support behind Fetterman that the polling momentum shifts. Doesn't matter. I think a lot of the people, I think you're going to see a lot of the polls shift towards the end as well, towards the election, because a lot of the people that already voted are not going to be taking polls anymore. I feel like through mail-in ballots. I don't actually. I probably shouldn't say that because that did not happen in any of the last two elections. That's a weird take. Ignore that part. I don't know why I said that, but I am going to give Harris a 0.6% lead in or 0.3% lead in Pennsylvania. It is the closest state I think by far, and if she does win Georgia or Arizona, those could also be very very close. Uh, Frankly, if I'm a Democrat, this is the same map as 2020. I'm happy with this. This kind of map means that you probably won the House as well. Uh, be happy, Democrats. If this is your map, be ecstatic because not only do you get to, uh, okay, whatever. I can't talk. I don't need to make a case for her right now. Democrats know why they'd be happy. It's because she won or whatever. But yeah, he destroyed himself at the debate. Uh, Kept lying about like the dogs and cats thing. Like that's not happening in the U.S. and that's the whole point. Like I saw like people like, oh, guess what? It really is happening. Here's proof, and it's people in the Netherlands. Like, okay, that's in the Netherlands, and they're like, oh, it's a cultural thing. No, you're just being racist, pretty much, because that is not a general thing that all Haitians do at all. I don't know where this is. Okay, I don't need to argue. I need to keep this behind a certain time frame. I don't know. Thank you for watching. I hope some people kind of like this prediction, but I hope it's not too boring. I know this is the first time I've had this exact map. This is the first time I've had this 2020 repeat map, and I hate repeat maps because they're so boring. And you'd think something would change. And at least last time I switched to Arizona with North Carolina, but you'd think, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe she'll make a play in Texas. Probably not. I don't know. I think it'd be pretty interesting if she wins like Maine's second district because that'd be funny. Oh my God! There's also a scenario where people think that she could get 269 and lose, but if she actually does win Maine's second district, then that doesn't happen. I don't know. I don't know. I think I'm gonna do another scenarios thing because I think I have a lot better ideas than scenarios from now on. Thanks everyone for watching. Goodbye.